You're listening to Edging the Truth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Edging the Truth. This is episode four of Edging the Truth. Throw up your fours. And today, we're talking about demons. Okay, we're talking about demons and what do demons exist? Is demons a thing? Do you believe in demons? Do you not believe in demons? And just kind of like where we're at in vis-a-vis demons. So we're just going to talk about that. And like, everybody's like, oh, is this going to be a religious episode? And like, I was trying to I said, no, we're just going to talk about demons. Because in my mind, when I think about demons, I think about the modern construct of a demon, which we know basically from like more or less like the last 100 years of literature, illustration, DVD, TV, like where, demons are all of a sudden something that everybody can manifest. People making demons all the time on a computer right now in some classroom, getting a grade for it, making a demon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a basic programming thing now, but it's like, that's what you always think. I mean, I've been fighting demons in video games since day one. So it's like, yes, do I believe that, the doomed demons are out there somewhere, fighting Nazis and assorted whatnots? Like, I don't know. So it's a whole thing. But that was where I thought we were with demons. But then I actually, as I got into looking at demons and looking into this a lot more, it's all up in that religion. It's what it's all tied to. It's so much of like the good versus the bad. Like, that there's a bad place you go. There's things that come from that place that punish you. That seems to be the classic construct of what demons kind of are. And like, if you look at kind of the history of demons, there's different classifications. There's all these different books and stuff that people have done. But it's like, if you look through, I'm just going to go through like a few names of like some of these things. Like these are like the works of people that have done where they talked about demons classically, like this Testament of Solomon, Wikipedia, this, you guys, it's demons. You can all follow along at home. In fact, that's a great idea. Go ahead and pull up this thing on demons on Wikipedia and you can follow along at home and see this. It's like, so there's all these things, the Celis of classification of demons, the Lantern of Light. So all of these the three things I just told you are all from like the 1300s, 1400s and before. This old school demon shit, and like if you keep going through, like there's other people that come. Lantern of Light, classification of demons. Spina's classification of demons, 1467. Agrippa's classification of demons, 1510. That's where we finally get to your Lucifer and your assorted whatnots. Then it's like you get to Binsfield's classification of demons, 1589. And then we get classic King James. That motherfucker did everything. He classified demons too, 1597. But like then Michaela's classification of demons, 1613. But that's it, basically. So that's like, we're in the 1600s. We got it. We've classified all the demons. These people are already 5 generations deep of stacks on stacks, because you can see the names of the demons as they go kind of stay the same. They just put them in different classifications and scales and all that stuff. And let me tell you, everybody who's watching or listening to this, if you play video games, you know the names of every one of these fucking demons.
Yeah.
Because every character you've ever played in every video game that involved a devil or something, or some Hades is a recent game. Most of these creatures are in there in the underworld with these names. I mean, it goes back 14s, 15s, 1600s. We're still using the same names. The only current things that were like, there's a bunch of other more current stuff, like all these other names. If you scroll down here and see Dictor Infernal, all the way up to the classic Satanic Bible. Lots of stuff in the Satanic Bible. I've read the Satanic Bible, because we date goth chicks. It just kind of happens.
And there it is. Mark that down. The first mention of Brian's sex life. And it wasn't by one of us.
Let me tell you.
Didn't take that long.
Okay, let me tell you guys. All right, do you want the
opening statement? No.
Okay, so all right, let's put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that in a segment because it's a good story to be later determined. But basically, once you get to the Satanic Bible, like that's the most modern construct that says anything about demons, and like even that goes back to all that has come before. Nobody's groundbreaking any demon stuff, is what I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? There's no frame of reference. There's no any of that kind of stuff. It's all old school stuff. And even, Satanic Bible just more or less kind of classified the, different names of Satan in other religions to kind of throw it all in one to be like, look, every religion has a thing. And it just, Satanic Bible tried to tie the room together vis-a-vis demons in every religion. It's a whole thing. It's kind of a mess. If you've ever read it, And we're going to get letters on that one. Satanic Bible people, whatever. Underlyingly, the point is, there's no new groundbreaking stuff on demons. And the whole thing of, in all the other kind of shows we've done thus far, Bigfoot, ghosts, just aliens, there's more current mythos, or, there's more current information, there's more current things, sightings, people generationally have seen it, but you never hear, like, I know, like, you go down to Louisiana, they got them swamp demons and the ho-hey, and the boogies in the woods and that stuff, and it's fine. But, like, it's just overall, there's no real thing of people having demonic sightings. I mean, possessions and that kind of stuff. We're not talking about that. We're talking actual manifested creature of darkness, other generation, whatever. And it's so much of it is just tied to religion as the other side of the coin. The good has to have the bad. And that's kind of where the demons are. And, there's a lot of classifications, your classic succubuses and whatnots, behemoths, leviathans, a lot of your magic card names in here too. I mean, it's like, if you've anything that deals with devils and demons in the modern times, you already know all these names that are on this list of demons. We know them just basically because all these programmers did Wikipedia and said, that's a good demon name, let's put that in there. And it's kind of entered into the lexicon, like it's just Azazel, Minos, like all these things. Like, it's like I played a character that I cast Leviathan the other day in a magic game along with Behemoth, both good magic cards, but that's underlyingly neither here nor there. But that's kind of the opening. And so it's like, I guess we're kind of talking about, because there is no real modern stuff about demons other than TV, DVD, film, the modern construct. And honestly, I feel like that's even why people even know more about demons, or feel like they do, oh yeah, demons are a thing, just because it's out there in so much of the TV, pop culture, DVD, all that stuff. So it's like, where does this fit into society? Is it a religious thing? Is it is there a science to demons? Is it legend? Is it something else? And, I have some stories and stuff I'll say about my demonic things of the hey-ho-hey later as we get into the topic. But basically, you guys, that's where we are. So let me just throw it out to my friends. Let me introduce them here. We got, of course, in the upper corner there, we got the big fudge daddy, Anthony, over here. And then we got Red Rasmus right there.
Anthony?
Fuck is Anthony?
That sounds so fucking awkward. That's Fudge. All right, I got Fudge there. I got Red Rasmus.
But his name is
Anthony's not my name.
Anthony.
Andy. Oh, this orangutan, guys, it just hits you sometimes.
This guy talks for fucking 15 minutes.
It was 13 minutes. I count.
He doesn't even know his fucking co-host's name.
13 minutes. And I got down a deep demon hole, and I didn't want to, and I'm trying to bring it back here so we can go into the rest of the thing. So, these are my friends here. We got Big Fudge Daddy up here. We got Red Rasmus. We got One Lung Low. Their real names are assortedly around. And I'm gonna throw it over to you, and I'm starting with you, Fudge.
Yeah, sorry, my computer got unplugged. Yeah, Anthony. That's actually funny. That's not the first time I've been called Anthony by somebody on a podcast. And my cousin who I I'm definitely closest to in my family. His name is Anthony, so I always get a kick out of being called that. But great job, Brian. I knew you're old, but I didn't know you were at the point of forgetting your friends' names yet. But here we are.
I'm smoking this orangutan titties. I busted it out specifically for the podcast. I think I also need to just put it on record and prove to you guys that the orangutan titties does exist. Let me see it right there.
Yeah.
There they are.
It is a real weed that I'm really smoking.
Weed.
It's not
And
just
it's so good it makes you forget your friends' names when you're talking about demons. And
I think that's the demons.
but I'll throw it to you first, Fudge. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Science versus legend? Do you believe in demons? Do you think demons are any more than just, give me your perspectivist?
I gotta be honest, I don't really know much about the topic. I think really the only like time that I've really ever thought about demons or really ever heard of demons or had any type of knowledge would be more so like possession, like the spiritual type of demons, the ones that are said to kind of take you over and make you do things, and make you talk like this, or, that you see in those classic scary movies, those demonic possessions. When I think of demons, I think of, red creatures with horns and maybe hooves, or, maybe almost like centaurish or fucking Mr. Tumnus-esque, but with red skin and
through the
bigger,
wardrobe. All right.
Bigger horns. I don't know, man. Like I can't really say definitively if they're real or not. I do believe in ghosts, and I do believe in like residual hauntings and shit, and I think that could partly be to explain some of these demonic sightings or whatever. But really my only frame of reference here is seeing like ghost investigation shows or videos where they claim that there's an incubus or a succubus there, or there's some type of demonic possession, or you always see they come out with scratches, and it's just in threes, like on their back. They have no idea how they got. So I don't know, man. I'm very undecided at the moment. I guess I just need to do more research. I did try to get into this Wikipedia article, but it is a lot of words, a lot of long names, and
which is yet another thing. It's like there's like no modern stuff. Nobody marketed up.
Right. I'm supposed to just fucking believe these people from the 1600s that were only able to bathe like once a year. Yeah, pass.
that they could classify all this stuff into this deep mythology.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is. It's
that has never been replicated or confirmed or denied. I mean, yeah, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I mean,
it goes into like a religion thing as well. I grew up Catholic. We all, were told, about the devil and temptations and stuff like that. And I think that is part of it. One of the classifications of the demons, isn't it? Like what? Lust, gluttony, all that shit that's supposed to be, demons, for lack of a better word, that can sneak up on people.
It's right here in this article. It's that seven deadly sins thing that came from a classification of demons. Those were just 7 demons that they put in a classification in one of these books. Mm-hmm. But once again, we only know about them so much because of DVDs, movie, TV.
Shazam.
The movie Shazam. Bam. So you got it right there. That's the most recent demon sighting with the names attached.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's really my initial take on it. I'm excited to learn more and hopefully have you remember my name as the episode goes along.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna let that one go anytime soon.
No. Big Anthony.
It's gonna be weeks. You're gonna be dealing with this every night.
All right. We're gonna go to one long. Mikey, what do you think? What's your demon take as a ghost person yourself? What's your demon take?
Well, I'd first off like to thank you for remembering my name. Makes me feel better about me and my life. So I have 3 schools of thought on demons.
Okay.
First, you have your common construct of demons, like where you hear people talk about, oh, they were struggling with their own demons, right? Like, and those are those internal things that we fight through the 7 deadly sins kind of mentality, or, depression. There's a lot of things that are considered demons, right? And then we have the demons of what I would say are supernatural, right? And those are the demons that I think that we're more talking about in this episode, where, you see them in video games, you maybe read them in books, or as Brian did, read them with his ex-girlfriends. And
It was still in books.
There's still books, yeah, but you read them with your ex-girlfriend. Well, yeah. Anyway, and then,
don't paint a picture.
Yeah, and then the third thing is like demons as a kid, like what I perceived a demon to be as a child, right? And so I'm gonna start off there. So I think that most of us have probably looked in the mirror and said Bloody Mary 3 times, right? And you're trying to get Bloody Mary to appear.
No, I'm not crazy person one.
Well, when you were like in any time in your life, not when you were like 7, 8.
Yeah, not with your friends.
Say it too many times. She might show up.
Exactly.
When I was like, I know I did it when I was a kid. Like kid.
No, you know what we would say in the mirror? We'd say, "Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls."
Oh my God, that's funny.
It's Candyman these days. It's the candy.
But you really get that mentality that demons are ghosts, but with a higher power.
Yeah.
They're evil. They can actually do stuff to you. Where ghosts are just kind of like beings that are there. And so, with that mentality of what I thought of as a kid, I grew up, thinking that way. And then I did a little research a long time ago, and they had said that demons were actually like fallen angels, where ghosts were just passed away humans that hadn't crossed over to the next phase, right? And so you start thinking about things about that, and it's like, well, who are fallen angels? And you think of Satan, the first fallen angel, and that's where that kind of starts, where with some of the demon stuff that I was brought up as. Now, clearly, there's demon talk from well before this time frame, but for me, that's where it starts. And I don't like Fudge. I'm not sure that demons exist, but I do believe in ghosts, and I believe that I've seen ghost sightings, as in previous episodes. So if I believe in that, I kind of feel like I'm pushed towards believing it, although I've never seen anything. I've never interacted with a demon. But I do believe that they're there. I think that a really good, more current example of this is like the Conjuring movies. Like those are based off of true stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while the movies are definitely,
but that's still our construct again. It's always comes back to we know it by movies and TV. That's what we always relate it to right now. Even if it's based on a true story, we're like, I don't know that true story, but I know that movie.
Right, but in those cases, like you're being like, I've watched interviews with the actual couple and stuff where you're like listening to their exact stuff, and it's all very realistic to me. Like I could see that stuff happening, and I hear stories of things, outside of that construct that match those things, and it's like, And I'm a big believer in there's no such thing as a coincidence. I mean, other than like, oh, we wore the same color pants. Like, okay, that's a coincidence. But I mean, like, if you have several different things in a row that all sound the same, it's probably not a coincidence. So I do believe in demons. I don't know that I have any hard proof, but I think that there's enough out there for me to say that there are demons out there, and I don't want to fuck with them.
All right. So that brings us to you, Mr. Rasmus, sir. What are your thoughts on the demons? Real, fake, TV construct, based on a true story, religious?
Red looks like he either is gonna like write an article for a 1950s newspaper about it, or he's like giving us a ride in his cab and telling us about his
my checker cab.
Yeah. Hat game's fire though. I like it.
I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely on the fence about how I can logically believe in demons. I've definitely been through the thought process of, well, dinosaurs are extinct. Why can't demons be extinct? Many humans have robbed the planet of many, species, the dodo bird for one, right? It's not inconceivable that between the years 1000 and 1500 AD, they spent all that time hunting demons all over Europe and they just killed them all. I have to accept that possibility. I feel like that. However, that seems pretty crazy. There would
like
be
there was a real life
documentation.
Witcher
There
thing
would be-
happening. Yeah.
There'd be something more substantial from a documentation standpoint than these fairly obvious creations of these authors. You go back to those earliest ones. They don't have sources, and so you mean to tell me that for thousands of years on this planet there were no demons until these guys started writing about it at some point in time? There was no other documentation. So to me that means, well, maybe this is something over time that's morphing, that we're in Egypt we had the gods, and maybe that morphs into what we think of as demons, and that morphs into what we think of as cryptozoology with the Jersey Devil and Bigfoot and these sorts of things. I feel like that's also possible, that I have to acknowledge the fact that ideas do evolve over time, and what we call things evolves over time, and so maybe these things are the same thing. Maybe these are the alien sightings of those centuries. Again, I feel like it wouldn't have just stopped being documented. It wouldn't have stopped being pursued also as a field of study, the way that the ghosts and UFOs and Bigfoot continue to be studied and sought out. But again, I grew up in the era of, like we mentioned earlier, the original Shazam live action TV show it was on in the 70s. Amityville Horror, the earliest of the Warrens, and probably their most famous case that put them on the map, the Amityville Horror story, where the guy, claimed that there were demons talking in his head. And of course, the original Dungeons and Dragons. And so I had a monster manual with all those awesome pictures of all these
Lots
hundreds
of demons in there.
Tons of demons,
did great
and
art
all the
and all that
same
stuff.
names that you mentioned already.
Mhm.
Those manifestations seem to be really consistent over long periods of time, and is that because they haven't changed, or is that because, well, there's only like 5 sources and it's less work to just copy what someone else has already come up with creatively?
Yeah, because even for that D&D stuff, they were still drawing from the old pictures and paintings and Renaissance stuff for inspiration for the things they did for those D&D books. They still didn't conjure those visions of demons from scratch. They still went from all the old stuff that was already kind of done in Bibles and all those places with art.
Here we are at Christmas time. Is Krampus a demon? Visually speaking, Krampus, everything that we've ever seen a picture of Krampus, it looks like a demon. That's what demons look like, right? They're like some kind of weird animal with horns, and they look scary, and that's a demon. So, I feel like maybe I think maybe that we've outgrown what the term demon used to mean, and so it's kind of hard to have an analogy today. That's my way of saying I don't disagree, but I don't know that I believe either.
I also feel like it's like a religion thing too. It's like if you didn't really grow up like in Christianity or Catholicism, I know like Islam as well has demons, but I don't know. It's just I feel like I just don't know enough about the topic to like really like know for sure or not. It's like just so confusing to me, to be honest with you. And it
goes that with religion especially, it's like it just comes down to it's the other side of the coin. There's the good, there has to be the bad, and the bad can't look like the good. It's got to be these demons, these creatures, all this stuff, and it's just like, but it seems like we've just kind of kept that construct, and I guess.
There was a whole series of movies in the I want to say like either the late 80s or early 90s called The Prophecy, and it started out there's like 6 of them and they all got Christopher Walken in them, but the first one was really that idea, right? It was like fallen angels and angels sent from heaven to fight the fallen angels on earth, but again they manifested as people, and most of the time when we see there was one with the guy that plays vision, Paul Bettany, that was called, I think it was just called Angel. And it was like, a bunch of people are at a diner and all of a sudden this dude shows up and he's like, I'm a fallen angel. And he's wearing like a priest's robe and shit, right? Like, so if the current church isn't even talking about demons, which they don't, right? That's part of the whole Vatican II,
Electric Boogaloo.
In the 19th, when Pope John Paul II did that whole business of like, let's modernize the church. Let's get rid of exorcisms. Let's get rid of all this demon talk and all that sort of stuff. We don't now. It's relegated to fantasy. As fantasy characters and
I think Mikey said it in his first point, which was correct, is that it's the whole thing about like your demons are inside you. It goes back to a religious thing. It's like, all right, maybe the demons aren't going to come for you if you do all this bad stuff, but if you go against these kind of 7 deadly sins, your internal demons, are what build up from you doing these bad things, gluttony, all this kind of sloth, all this stuff. It's more of an internalized thing instead of an outward creature of sorts.
I mean, we say you got a monkey on your back when you have an addiction, right?
Yeah.
Like we physically manifest that. It's the same thing. It's a physical manifestation.
Demon,
Yeah.
What about, like, I don't know if we brought this up yet, like the Satan stars that people do to try to conjure and make portals and shit.
That's exactly where I was about to go.
Look at us on the same page, Anthony and Brian. Just
because the whole thing is it's this demon thing versus this whole occult thing.
Right.
And the occult thing is the other hand of it, where the occult stuff are the people that want to conjure demons and want to like do all this kind of stuff. And that, which brings me to the story.
Yes, sir.
So, all
right. Up, boys. Okay. We're getting horny.
There was a time as a younger man in the 16s, 17s area, kind of dating a certain kind of girl, the goth girl, kind of into that occult stuff, started going down to the LA library, getting into the deep cuts of the book section, find all this weird occult shit, like to do all this stuff. And so, we found these things where you can conjure stuff and do spells and stuff. And of course, I'm trying to get some ass and like, hey, it'd be cool if we conjured a demon anyway. So, I got the candles, we got the shit, I went and got some blood from the butcher, the whole fucking schmear.
How many sheep did you slaughter?
No, like I said, just went to the butcher and got this shit done.
Smear all over your body?
More than I'd like to tell you. It was a whole thing. You had to do this whole fucking ritual, and like I was down, it was cool. She fucking had big old titties. That's a whole other thing, but like but that was the whole like we did it. We did the rituals, we did the hey, hey, ho, hey, all the stuff. And just nothing. Nihil.
It's because you didn't believe, Brian.
Oh, at the time.
You were in it for the wrong reason.
I felt it. I was down for belief because I was believing it was going to get me some ass. And I was young. I was young, and but it was like you said, it was the goth girls, and like we were all into that stuff, and the pentagrams. The girls that would always draw pentagrams in their hands and shit while they were at school. That whole crowd and stuff. But I mean, so it was like been there, done that, and it was just like, yeah, I read all this stuff years ago. I read all these books. I learned all this shit, and it's just like, and then it just kind of gets lumped into. I read all the other religious stuff too when I was in college. I read all the books, everything, all that shit. So, but it was like, this is just like it ended up the demons just on the other side of the coin, and we've gone away from the demons to your, like I said, the demons are internal, your vices, and this whole like occult thing on the outside. So it's like, what do you guys think? Like, it's like, because demons, I think, are a belief for like religion, and a cult is like its own belief that like they can conjure demons. So what are your guys' thought kind of on this whole occult thing? It's like I said, I've done the ceremonies, I did the stuff. It was, nothing happened. I know, once again, we're gonna get some angry messages from all the people like, you don't even know we made some candles move. You don't even know. You know, yeah.
You weren't even pronouncing the spells correctly.
You must not have been using it. You see, you have to use the demon tongue, and you totally didn't use that.
Yeah,
It's
you
Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Yeah, I talked to your girl, and my demon tongue's way better than your demon tongue. Like you couldn't even get her off. Like
straight demon tongue. Mikey, what are your thoughts on the occult versus demons and that whole thing of like a myth versus like a, I don't know, that you can manifest them, that they're a thing that you can acquire or call. Also, I guess that they're an immortal being that's alive forever. You know.
Yeah. So I think that, so in my mindset, demons are real, right? Let's just say demons are real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all taking that as a fact at this point. Like, even though we don't know, we're just say that they are. I think that the occult, they're, processing this, or, I think that them inviting those demons into our world is a real thing. I mean, while you may not have experienced it in your situation because maybe your reasonings were not altruistic, I do think that it is possible. And I think that even if like the demons themselves don't manifest, I almost feel like the group that is manifesting these or trying to manifest is almost as dangerous as the actual demon itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of them will go and do some crazy things in the name of trying to get these things to manifest.
Yeah, that chick did end up in rehab, I'll just say. She had a bit of a pill problem. So
hold on. You will cover yourself in blood for a goth chick in rehab, but you will not sit on some meat for to provide a laugh for your fucking friends on the internet.
What kind of comedian are you?
Yeah, what the hell is this?
I don't want to be.
And why is that the line that is drawn?
But you want to be the blood guy?
Do I do the blood thing?
Which is from the meat?
I agree with Anthony here.
Look,
it's way less
maybe
gross.
If you'd have caught 16-year-old me, you'd have got meat sitting me. I'd have probably sat on some meat at 16. You tell me
30 years too late.
Get me some tang. Yeah, I think I've passed the meat sitting phase of my life, is what I'm trying to tell you. Now I only will inadvertently sit on meat, as in somebody like puts a burger down on the seat when I'm at a picnic. I'll sit on, but other than that, I'm not intentionally seeking out and sitting on meat. But just to go back to Mikey for a second, though, it's like I also feel like even that, well, just in general, like the ghost thing, because there are different levels of ghost, specter, those kind of things that can kind of move stuff or manifest things more or whatever. Is it that maybe before they were calling ghosts demons and now we just call them ghosts, but it's what I'm saying, that we just have classified it differently because maybe some of these demonic possessions are maybe more ghost possessions. And I'm a ghost skeptic, but I'm still like just kind of throwing out here that maybe
I don't believe that
phenomenons are commingled, because
in my mind
we don't have any old recounts of ghosts.
Yeah, in my mind, ghosts can't possess things though, and that's kind of where I differ in the idea of demons and ghosts. Is like demons can actually have a physical effect on people, where ghosts are just kind of like they're there,
You could be followed by a ghost, though.
Sure. I think that's different though than the ghost being able to
haunted by a ghost. Isn't that? I mean, it's kind of in the same vein.
Well, I believe that in possession,
vein.
like, and we'll probably get to this in another podcast at a different time.
Yeah, but possession's a whole other thing.
Teaser. Teaser. I think podcast. I think that possession actually is them kind of taking over you, or taking over an item. Like you open up that fun little pop-up box.
The music box.
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, your pop-up box.
Who doesn't love a nice pop-up box?
Pop-up box.
Well,
Brian
I think
a good pop-up box. Just
you
cover him in
raised a
blood
really
and he's
good
good to
point,
go.
Oh my God.
You raise a really good point in that I mean, and regardless of what we're talking about, whether we're talking about ghosts or the occult or witches or whatever, but I do feel like we're talking about like residual energy or putting energy out there into the world. And I'm definitely someone who believes like, positive energy, brings about positive things, and negative energy helps bring about negative things. I definitely am a believer of that. So if we're talking about, is the occult about seeking and bringing out negative energy? I mean, again, I don't know that much. I don't know that enough about the occult to know if that is the aim or the goal.
I think
we
a
know
lot of
the
the occult
demons.
is
We
it's
know
more
the demons
seeking
are
out
about
the
that.
power. It's either seeing the demons or having the demons give you something, and it's like it's seeking out that power. I feel like is a lot more of the occult.
And that's and if that's true, then witchcraft is that the same thing? Or is it not necessarily the same thing? Like and again, and that's another episode, witchcraft. My general understanding
are witches
of witchcraft,
trying to do stuff with demons? Do witches fuck with demons? I don't know.
Which not all of them are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely like Wiccan, like the whole idea that we're just trying
because
to connect
even a
with
lot of
Mother
our
Earth
witch
and
stuff
blah,
is
blah,
still
blah.
tainted by television and all that stuff. I mean, we're victims of pop culture.
Totally,
It's like what shows did you watch that influences your thought of? Were you a big Angel fan? You like that, like the Buffy. What was your angels versus demons thing that what are you, Team Jacob? Like, I mean, it's like, where you fit in.
Don't get me started.
Vis-a-vis demons, and then we get into werewolves demons, or all these other mythical creatures demons, are all these things demons? When we were thinking they're aliens, they were demons. Is a Bigfoot a demon? All these things are, I mean, like I said, we can go all these ways, and that's why we're edging the truth, you guys, because it's like we're just trying to tie the room together. You know what I'm saying? Between all these different mythologies, are they real? Are they not? Because you can see where, like I said, you could see where people could have thought ghosts were demons back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because that was all they knew. Where now it's like we classify things differently. And it's just like that's so. And even if you look at the demon books here, going all the way back up to this Wikipedia article to tie the room together once again, it's just all of these different classifications and all these things were just, meant to like put these things in their place to where they're supposed to fit.
I think monsters and demons are all intents classified as, the same group, But I think that the difference between monsters and demons, and at least in my mind, is that the demon has that evilness about them where a monster
not all
be a
monsters
monster.
are demons, but demons
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be
The Loch Ness
monsters.
monster's not a demon.
Mike Wazowski.
Right. The Loch Ness monster's not a demon.
Were dinosaurs demons?
No,
but we've never thought of
animals.
They've never been categorized that way.
Yeah, but if you found a fucking Tyrannosaurus skull in the 1400s, the 1300s, you sure as fuck think you found a demon skull. That's another
you're
thing I'm
absolutely
saying.
right.
It's this whole misclassification of stuff throughout history. They were finding dinosaur bones, thinking they were finding demon bones, and filling in the rest. I mean,
and think of how much we know about science in the time since the time that these books were written.
All of this was, pre-toilet paper era. People were freaking, wiping dirty, and like that. I don't trust their scientific method. Yes, a lot of the fundamentals are stuff we still build on, but it's like I said, I just feel like sometimes that throughout history, stuff just starts to get being reclassified differently.
I'd like to
point out that like vis-a-vis like that the Titanic was a tragedy, and now it's a Lego playset that you can buy, including the iceberg. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, as people just start to classify shit differently, and that's like just kind of how like if you go back to all this old stuff to now. So sorry, Willen, go ahead with. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say I think that the building blocks of demonology does definitely come from those early years. There are still people today that have, made their life work off of studying demons, and I mean people that are like professors at Oxford and these very high,
theologians. I mean,
very high ranking universities.
But those motherfuckers are just studying these old.
They're history professors, right? Like we're not. They're studying the history of these things.
Yeah. It's even that whole fucking Tom Hanks movie, The Angels and the Demons and stuff. He was still just in the end like a history professor that just studied all this shit. And it's all these old books is what he studied, which is why he knew all the stuff. And it just still comes down to it was still just all based on these old books that nobody's done anything on since the 1600s. And
but I think that raises the question of, well, but if we are still putting professors in colleges to preserve this knowledge, then it must be inherently important.
I mean, yeah, I guess we also put
just
PE,
playing devil's advocate, right?
We also put PE teacher professors in college. You can get a recreational degree
because we still think that's important. We believe that it's important
basketball
for people
and
to be
golf
physically
in college, and they were
fit.
two of the best classes I
yeah, but did you get a major in it?
No,
People do.
I didn't major.
Yeah, see, I took sports broadcasting in college. That shit was fun as fuck, but I'm not on TV.
This isn't the YouTube's essentially TV, Brian.
I guess.
I can watch YouTube on my.
I'm not TV as you're ever going to get, buddy.
I got a face for radio. And
I think what's interesting though is like if you look at the Ed and Lorraine Warren
thing for radio, Brian.
But if you look at the story about Ed and Lorraine Warren, or better known as the couple that did The Conjuring, like if you run their stories, well, actually, they knew a lot of the demonologists as well, and a lot of the things that these well-known professors studied and made their life work after agreed with the stuff that they were seeing in these places, and so I don't think that it's as far in the past as what we all might think it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that there isn't new stuff out there, but I tend to believe that, the stuff that you're finding that you're just saying like, hey, they never came up with anything new. I think it's just because those are the building blocks that were built, and there might not be a ton of new stuff,
Well, and I think that brings us to our kind of questions to the edge, which is where I'm coming to right now. And that's just kind of this, I'm just going to throw out a couple things, it just kind of brings so it's like, what do demons look like? Is it your TV demon? Is it your video game demon? Is it your old illustrations out of old Bibles? Is it your, D&D sort of whatnot? It's like, we haven't had demon sightings. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's never been anybody out there, even with an old grainy camera, giving me some demon footage, and them Nazis were fucking with that demon stuff. If there was anything they got, they would have had footage of that stuff. They were deep into that. And that goes back to that whole demons versus the occults. But, the Nazis actually, like I said, it may be Hellboy and all these movies that tell you about that stuff. But no, the Nazis, in video games, a lot of video games, Nazi occult. But they were deep into that stuff. Indiana Jones, Nazis, occult. It's just, but they really were trying to conjure demons and stuff. And I just think that they gave it such a college try that shit was gonna happen, And
we know all the crazy stuff that they did, in the sake of science. I mean, it's well documented. It is,
if there was anything,
about the experiments,
how many people do we have to sacrifice to get this demon to appear? Done.
I'm sure they tried.
There's a ceremony like that going on somewhere right now.
100%.
Got black robes. Somebody's got a fucking skull with some big ass fucking horns.
But that goes back to demons versus the occult. And what are those people seeking out? Is some kind of power to conjure some kind of demon's going to give them that power.
What's interesting,
and yet still be able to control said demon, which is underlyingly is not only in conjuring but control. That's what it's got to be about.
Well, and doesn't all of this inherently lead to the devil? I mean, isn't that the upshot of all of these demons? Is that they are part of the family tree of the devil, so therefore it is all about the devil.
You're still getting some of the devil's power underlyingly, yes. Which is why the most recent construct for demons is the satanic Bible, because that's where they try to tie the room together of all the demons and all that stuff, and like where it all fits in, and kind of like how the church tried to modernize. That's what the satanic Bible has done, and hence why it's it has many revisions. Because it
makes me excited for our future episode about possession.
Well, like I said, possession's like we're watching this. Possession is a whole other animal. So, but it's like so. Red, what are your thoughts on demons look like, demon sightings? I mean,
I mean, I guess the only response I have to that is that due to a lack of one, I don't have an opinion on this. If they exist. Let's put it this way. If they do exist, then I feel like I haven't seen an accurate depiction of one. And if I have seen one, then it's probably that all the more likely that either they aren't what they used to be, or we just call them something different now. And I would never have thought to say, well, that's a demon, right? Is a dude are these crazed serial killers that you know that are on death row going, I'll get them all, and I got a ton more bodies I can tell you about that are buried in, I'll tell you whatever. Is that a demon? Is that a modern version of what a demon is? I don't. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would go, that's it. That's the devil incarnate. That's what it is on this planet today. And so, how am I to dispute that? If we're talking about demons from the monster-ish kind of perspective, then, man, if they're out there, then they look like whatever they look like.
Fudge, any thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that you kept mentioning the word power, because the ancient Greek word daemon denotes a spirit or divine power. Like, it never says anything like negative or has no negative
I know about the Ferengis. I know about the daemons over there.
And so, like, that's what these cults are looking for. It's a power. And I think, they're conjuring this shit or attempting to conjure this shit, not really knowing, like, the true power of, like, if this shit is real, like, probably fuck some shit up.
Yeah, if a demon actually showed up, I'm pretty sure whatever you had prepared, not enough.
It's not gonna
your chalk line and blood on the ground, not gonna get it done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've watched enough Doctor Who episodes to know that. I've seen them conjure demons. But
exactly.
It's just no, it's not. It's just no. It's not.
I think,
and that's the whole point. If somebody actually did conjure a demon, that motherfucker would be rampaging like Godzilla. You would know. You would know about that shit. And
yes.
Like I said, and that all goes back to okay. So we're still saying that the demons that were alive when this dude, or quote unquote, when these were classified in the thousands, in the 1200s, 1300s, are still alive today. That these demons are immortal, exactly the same. Maybe we did conjure the demon and it was just dust because the motherfucker was dead. Like, there he is. Like,
had no more power left.
He's just, there he is. You conjured my dust. Welcome, here I am. It's like, or you just the ghost of the demon, which is a whole other thing. Don't get me going on ghost demons. That's a whole other episode. That's a subreddit. That's a subreddit you don't want to go down. But all right. Well, I mean, so let's just kind of get this towards the end here. Just one kind of final question. Let's give a quick little bit here, and then we'll just kind of land this plane. I mean, like, do you guys think there's like really? I mean, Mikey, you kind of touched on it a little bit. Do you think there's any evidence of demons? Like, really, is what it comes down to. Is there any evidence of demons? You go ahead first, Mikey.
I think that's a hard one to answer. I mean, honestly, like,
you're the man that's evidence of Bigfoot exists, so that's why I'm asking. That's where we're going here. It's like, do we have the same? I guess there's no demon hair sample. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, at least I have an outside chance, especially with our last episode, of believing that Bigfoot is an alien. That I can accept that. Also, I can accept that Bigfoot exists as an alien. So I all of a sudden I'm in your camp. But is a demon Bigfoot? You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I'm gonna say. It's like,
is a demon Bigfoot, not this bullshit.
Yeah, no, I don't think demon is a Bigfoot, but
I don't.
And I think that there's a distinct difference between monsters and demons, but I also believe that demons can be monsters. So I guess it's back to the whole all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares, kind of thing. But I'm gonna say that as far as evidence goes, I think that there are times that there is evidence out there that is probably tangible, but I think that the human mind wants to do the best to explain things in a scientific manner. And so a lot of times they get explained away in different ways. Whether if it's like a fire of some sort that, this happened, but why did that happen? And so I think that there is times that we could say, like, some of these freak accidents were the makings of a terrible entity. And, I can't prove it, but I think that there's, and definitely sometimes in this world that we could say, yeah, that probably was supernaturally enhanced. So that's my mindset.
Fudge, your thoughts on evidence of demons?
I think that, I mean, whether you believe the movies or not, obviously they're all based on true stories. You can go back and do more research, but just the amount of, priests and stuff that actually were exorcists, and I still think there are, exorcists around. I think there is some sort of evidence. Obviously, we talked about all the old ass books and all the old ass texts from 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, and all of that good kind of stuff. So the evidence is there. Obviously, like we've said it on previous episodes, like you want to just see it with your own two eyes. Actually, I don't know if I want to see a demon. I think I'm probably good on that one.
I think I'm good.
I think I'll pass.
But it's like, what kind of demon? Big demon, small demon? Are we talking baby Hellboy or full size Hellboy? You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Like, what am I getting? I'm getting some friendly demon.
Full size red Mr. Tumnus, small size red Mr. Tumnus.
Yeah. Where's my witch in my wardrobe?
Yeah. So I want to say I'm on the fence here, but like I also feel like it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm like all in on ghosts, but I don't believe in demons. So I'm gonna say I think they are real.
Okay. Well, the realness is on, but you think that we can still find evidence of demons? You think it's just the theory?
Oh,
the evidence aside.
Sorry. I mean, shit. It's about to be 20. It's about to be 20.
Demon bones, demon horn.
We're not going to find demon bones. I don't think we're going to do that. I think that's more. It's going to be somebody finds one of these fucking cults trying to do some conjuring type shit. Or, I mean, dude, it's about to be 2022 with all the shit that's gone on in the past, like 3 years. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes out. Really, I identify as a demon. Like, I've been fucking with all of you this whole time or whatever. So, I think, I
100% guarantee there's someone out there right now that identifies as a demon. I think there's a whole Facebook group of them. Like, guarantee.
And Brian's gonna try to fuck them.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with those people. It's too deep. I don't go that far into a cult for sex anymore.
I mean, I think I feel like there's always room for more evidence, especially the way technology is advancing, and we're constantly learning more about everything every day. So yeah, I think you could get more evidence. You probably could. The evidence right now is pretty. I don't want to say sufficient, but there's enough to make a case, right? Obviously, we're doing an episode about it, so
it's substantial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my point is, I think that most of the evidence that we have is still, just based on that we see demons all the time, every day in cartoons, anime, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, even Marvel has demons in it. I mean, it's just everything has assorted demons, and we're so into it. It's like, so do we really have the evidence, or do we just think we do because we're just demons are normal? It's just normal. I fight demons every day. I fought demons this morning. I'm trying to escape hell. This damn Hades. I can't get out of there. I'm like 65 runs in. I can't get out of hell. I hate it. But you get what I'm saying. So, but like, Red, your thoughts here on the evidence?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it comes back to what we're talking about as a definition of demons, and in this particular episode and instance, we're talking about it as a physical thing, as a being, as something that could be in the room with me, and the camera would see it, and you would all see it.
A Death Note, like a Death Note demon.
Yeah, and or the rabbit in Donnie Darko, or like whatever. That it's something that is physically manifested, and I think if we're talking about evidence of that, I'm not gonna. There's no evidence of that for me. Like, where is the evidence of that? There should be physical evidence if that's true, just like there is with Bigfoot. Now, if we're talking about evidence that demons exist in some form, then I'm all for that argument. I do believe that's true. I think when you start to bring in the idea that a demon could be a vehicle for power or possession, or again, it's the angel and the devil on your shoulder, right? That's how we kind of think of how demons enter our life, but also guardian angels, right? Like that they are this thing that helps tip the scales in how we decide to do things. And that when the quote unquote the bad side wins out, well, the demons are taking over, right? They've tipped the scales. Again, if we're talking about back to the idea that demons can possess you, then yes, absolutely. I feel like there's well documented cases of possession at this point. So, but that's not the same thing as what we started talking about. And so, if we're keeping our definition to is a demon a physical entity, and is there evidence, and am I satisfied by that evidence? Then the answer is absolutely no. I'm not satisfied by that evidence.
So yeah, so I feel like for me, it's like the demon as a creature. I'm more willing to believe in Bigfoot as a creature than a demon as a creature. You know what I'm saying? It's because there's even less. There's no demon hunter show out there. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of Bigfoot hunter, ghost hunter,
or a museum.
But there's no museums out there hunting for demon artifacts. There has to, other than artifacts that have a demon on them, that is like that's something that look at this great artist, blah blah blah, theologian age, this depiction of a demon or the devil or whatever the bad thing was in their society. So it's but yeah, I don't see the evidence. Now it's like if we're talking about possessions and that kind of stuff, even with the possessions, I'm leaning more towards that even a possession could be done. My thing is, and I can say, I'm the no ghost guy, and I think a possession is more a function of ghosts than anything else, and or just mental health. But that's the whole thing for another episode right here. That's not this. But for me, to wrap this up, to land this plane, to tell you guys that for me, demons, do they exist as a creature, such as anything, an alien, a Loch Ness monster, or any of these other topics that we've talked about? Do I believe that demons exist and are like among us and around? No. Do I believe that it's a topic of religion and like a thing to kind of keep people in check, that hey, you got to be good because this bad is over here and that kind of stuff, or your internal demons where you have to deal with this yourself, because if you be a piece of shit, it's going to be bad. And even that's just a way to keep people from not being a piece of shit. It's still guilting people by knowing these sins to not be a piece of shit. If you didn't know anything about the Bible or all that stuff, you'd be like, whatever, I'm fucking my wife, I'm doing all this stuff. You'd be a piece of shit if society didn't tell you not to. So that's because, you just be an animal out there. But it's like for demons, physical thing, no, not religious thing. It's a thing for religion, but even that, it's still not an actual creature that manifests. Possessions, I think, that's another topic. But even then, I feel like possessions can be explained away, and people are just putting the word demon on it because they're also putting possessions as a religious thing, when I think it could be tied to many other things. So, but it's just, all possessions have to be religious. The demons have to be exercised by a priest.
Yeah, that's another topic.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. But so let me throw it up to Red Rasmus up here. Your thoughts? Demons exist? Yes or no?
I mean, I can't even give a yes or no. I feel like in our strict definition, then the answer is no. If the answer is in a wider definition, then the answer is yes. That's where I'm at.
That's, I think, where a lot of this is a topic with something that we can't put our finger on. Andy?
It's pronounced Anthony. I say
yes or no? Yes.
Yeah.
You're pro demon?
Sure.
Yeah, I think they exist. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And to you, Mikey One Lungs, your thoughts on demon? Yes or no? Do they exist?
Yes, I think they do.
Yes, he does. So underliningly, once again, this is the asshole right here that doesn't believe that demons exist. It was my topic. I came in as a no. I thought we would all be no's. And in the end, these three motherfuckers are like, yeah. I was like, no demon hair, no that. I believe in Bigfoot. They found some hair in the woods. I believe in Bigfoot, but no.
I just realized that you don't believe in them. I thought you were pro this whole time. So that shows you how much I was paying attention.
No, at the end is the demon is an actual real construct, a creature that can physically exist in the room with me. No, I don't believe that that's a thing.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I agree with that. But I think I believe in it more like the possession side, like the ghost.
Well, yeah, as a mythos, but that's still tied to religion. It's still tied to possession. It's still tied to whatever. Yeah. I'm talking about the physical creature that is a demon.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. As I said, I'm with you. If we're talking about the Jersey Devil walking in the room, there's no fucking way.
Yeah. So
All right, cool.
So we're 2 no's. Are you a no then?
Now I get it.
So
we're talking about the physical demons.
Like there could be a demon right now sitting in your room with you, and you'd be like, "Look at that fucking demon right there, friends." You know, do you think that would ever happen, or has ever happened at any time in history that a demon has actually existed?
Oh, any time in history? Fuck, I would still say yes.
He's still yes. All right, and Mikey, you're still a yes as well. So it looks like
unwavering.
If you're throwing the whole anytime in history.
Well, I mean, all right. So we're saying that,
right
that
now,
some of these Japanese anime shows are right, and there were demon hunters back in the day. And all I'll say is they would have kept records. They would have kept records. Somebody would.
How do you know that they didn't?
I don't know. We're pretty well versed in history. I mean, we found stuff that the Chinese wrote on bones as a history. So I think we've kind of discovered almost all the historic writings that exist, and none of them was a list of that kind of shit. I mean, they found tablets from the Greek ages that say about how much hay was baled and that kind of stuff. So I think if there was anything about demon numbers, we would have got it. Especially with like the Japanese and that stuff. They'd have been all over it. But anyways, nevertheless, so it looks like we're 2 yeses, 2 no's. Let us know yourself what you think vis-a-vis demons as a real manifestation, not possessions, even not your like own internal demons, because I feel like that's for your therapist and you to discuss. But for here, demons is a real thing. Read the Wikipedia, make your own thoughts. Don't just watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and assorted things. But yeah, this has been Edging the Truth, episode 4, Demons. 2 no's, 2 yes. Let us know what you think. Thanks for
follow
watching,
us. Follow us on social media at Edging the Truth. Find us www.edgingthetruth.com. We are almost on Apple Podcasts. We should be approved by the time this episode is out. Spotify.
Why are you doing this like they can't see you right now?
I'm trying to get everything out. My name's Anthony, and this is Edging the Truth.
I'm Anthony.
We're out of here.
Drop us a comment on what you think. Bye.
Tell us what you think. That's Mikey. That's Red Raspus up top. That's Anthony, Andy, Fudge Hopper right there. And I am Brian Shenanigan. Thank you for listening to Edging the Truth. Episode 5 coming soon!
Visit edgingthetruth.com for more information and links to all our social media and podcast directories.